Our next speaker, Jessica Clare. We all love Jessica, amazing photographer. Orange County, I was looking here, past 10 years. She's been photographing about 10 years, which is pretty good in our industry when most people have been in 3 or 4 weeks so far, it seems like. But Jessica also is co-founder of Shoot Stack, which we all know and love, and I won't make any more Shoot Stack jokes because we've had enough of those. But I'd like to welcome to the stage Jessica Clare.
So I thought a lot about what to talk about, and I didn't come up with anything. So I'm going to tell you a little bit just about my story because that's what I have to share with you, which is how to succeed in photography without really trying. I think I started really young. I was about 3 years old. By the time I was 3, I was able to correctly identify which was my good side. So I was always posing and looking for the camera. But gradually I transitioned to the other side of the camera when I was about 5. So my parents were always sure to foster my interests, and they bought me the latest and greatest of all technology that was available at the time. So this is my first camera. I got it in 1985. I was in kindergarten. But of course in kindergarten, what are you going to shoot? Mostly what I shot was my Cabbage Patch dolls or my Halloween candy, you know, all the things that are important. My first and only formal training was my high school photography class. That's where I learned about things like aperture and light, and mostly I shot things like flowers that didn't move. Anything that couldn't get away from me is what ended up in front of my camera. This is actually one of the photos I shot in my high school class. But then somebody told me that if I wanted to be a real photographer, I needed to shoot in black and white. So I was like, okay, well, I'll shoot in black and white, and I'll photograph the neighborhood kids. It wasn't a super successful operation. They spent the majority of their time making faces and running away from me as fast as possible. So I was like, okay, well, I want to have a business, but I don't know how, so I guess I'll go work for somebody. And mostly what we shot was stuff like this. I shot this, I'm proud of it. I took most of my ideas from the bridesmaids at any given wedding. So pretty much any suggestion somebody threw out at me I would do, but I would accidentally shoot some stuff, you know, in between the ceremony and the reception. I knew I wasn't supposed to, I knew I would get in trouble, but I would kind of sneak in a few shots here and there. And I was like, oh, you know, this is kind of a little bit more fun. I like it a little bit more. I'm going to stick with it. So that year I went to WPPI where I learned 2 major things. The first thing that I learned is that the Australian guys are awesome. They're like so far ahead of anything that we were doing, and never once did I see a photo in their seminars of bouquets on the back of a bride's dress. So I was like, maybe it's not right. The other thing that I learned at WPPI is that I needed to get a logo. So I was like, all right, well, I'll get a logo. Photoshop has tons of clip art, so you can just go on there and just, you know, pick yourself out a little icon from the many options that are available. So that was what I did. Get a bride with a big mouth. My logo attracted one bride back to me, and she ended up somehow tricking me into paying her about $1,000 to shoot her destination wedding. But it ended up being okay because, because she posted about me on the Knot, and so I got tons and tons of feedback, but no actual money because I was paying to shoot weddings at this time. So I'm thinking, okay, well, since I can, in North Carolina, I can charge about $1,000 a wedding. That seems like a lot of work and a lot of bouquets on the back of the dress. So I did what any photographer would do in my situation, which is pack up my car and move to California. Which is what I recommend that all of you should do and probably will do within the next year. So welcome, come move to Ladera Ranch. We love it there. This is where the weddings were. I wanted to go where the jobs were, so that was what I did. I had no real plan other than to meet people. So this is Becker, obviously. You'll hear from him in a few minutes. And he was the photographer version of my big mouth bride. He introduced me to everyone. He introduced me to some of my greatest friends. And thank God they actually didn't do any research and see what the majority of the body of my work created, because they would let me second shoot for them. I second shoot for them, and I still do. If somebody needs a third assistant, a bag carrier, a masseuse, I'm your girl. I will show up to your wedding, and I will do whatever needs to be done just to learn my way around the venue, maybe pick up a few things. You never know what you're going to learn from somebody. It turns out that I also knew somebody else with a big mouth, which is my cousin. She referred me to a bunch of people, and in LA there's a lot of one-upping. So as an innocent bystander, I just provided the work that their friends just wanted to fight over and say, oh, you have those photos? I've got to get them too. So before I was booking weddings, I was able to do that. Well, somebody pointed out to me that maybe I should get rid of my Photoshop logo and get one, you know, that actually somebody couldn't just print out and stick on their photo out of Photoshop. So I did, and that was where I really started to define my style and my brand. I decided to shoot everything at 1.2. You know what? I love 1.2. Who's with me? Come on. I know that a lens isn't a style, but it was the look that I absolutely loved. So I decided, okay, this is what I love. This is what I'm going to start doing. I'm going to make a style out of it. I'm going to create it. And I'm going to get people to fly me all over the world because I possess this unique skill that nobody else in the world has. So of course, out of 1 billion people in the world, I actually only need about maybe 30 or 40 of them to believe that I am the only person in the world that possesses that skill. But that has been and still is all that I actually need. So in the natural progression of a photographer, you know, I took a few workshops, decided to teach workshops. But at this point, I felt like there were things that I wanted to share, which is just figuring out your own story and developing your own ways of getting into your clients' hearts and getting people to want something that's uniquely you. So in short, start young. You're younger today than you're ever going to be. Shoot anything that moves, pay your dues, learn from the Australians, brand yourself, dream, go to where the business is, meet people, develop your style, go out of your own backyard and teach and help others. Thank you.